Hey Tim, I'm not sure if you've heard, but this new spatial computing device, the Apple Vision Pro, becomes available for pre-orders on January 19th and starts shipping to customers on February 2nd. There's one problem though, it's US only. Now, I'm a resident of America's Hat, more commonly known as Canada, and apparently some sunshine-loving, perfect weather-having Californians want to deprive me of this revolutionary new platform. So I did what any insane Apple fanboy who drank way too much Kool-Aid would do. I attempted to figure out how to order an Apple Vision Pro while not being a resident of the United States of America. Now, there is precedent for getting US exclusive Apple products shipped outside of the country. Since I'm located in Canada, that's where I'll be focusing on. However, these tips should more or less work globally, in theory at least. I mean, this entire video is kind of theory, so do whatever you want. In 2018, when the HomePod launched exclusively to the US, I ordered one and had it shipped up via a forwarding company, which I'll talk more about shortly. One of my coworkers at the time, who happened to be in Vegas, bought one and brought it back with him. I still use that US bought original HomePod to this very day, and I never had any issues with it. You know, besides Siri constantly having trouble connecting. Based on my previous experience and knowledge, I believe that there are 3 ways to get the Apple Vision Pro if you are not a resident of the United States, and I want to explore those options from most to least complicated. Hopefully this goes without saying, but there's no guarantee these strategies will work. Plus, questions like how or even if the warranty would work at a non-US Apple store is still unknown. Alright, so you decide that you want to get an Apple Vision Pro, despite the potential inconvenience it may cause you. Great! Welcome aboard! Your first option to get an Apple Vision Pro while living outside the United States is to get one mailed to you. That's right, mailed to you. First, you'll need an iPhone or iPad that supports Face ID. The TrueDepth camera is used to measure your face for the appropriate light shield you'll need. For good measure, on your Apple device, go to Settings, General, Language and Region, and select United States. Next, you'll need a US Apple ID. This will be used to download an American version of the Apple Store app used to conduct the face scan on pre-order day. On a computer, download a VPN that can make you appear in the United States. Personally, I use Proton VPN because of their excellent free tier. Once connected, go to appleid.apple.com, create your Apple ID in the top right corner. When filling out the form, make sure to select United States from the country/region dropdown. I found when not using a VPN, I would get an error message. Once your American Apple ID is created, return to your iPhone or iPad and open Settings. Sign into your American Apple ID where it says Sign into your iPhone. You may be prompted to enter in an American address. You can use anything really, and you can set the payment option to none. You do not need to add a credit card. We need to sign into iCloud and not just the App Store, because the Apple Store app requires an iCloud account. Now that you've signed into your American Apple ID, go to the App Store, download your VPN of choice, and connect to an American server. After that, return to the App Store and download the Apple Store app. If all goes well, scroll down and you'll see an Apple Vision Pro Prepare for Pre-order card. The last piece of the puzzle that we need is a forwarding company, which we'll send the Apple Vision Pro to, pay a fee along with postage, and they'll send it internationally. I've used ShipIt2 in the past. They sent me my HomePod in 2018, and I'll likely use them again. What ShipIt2 will do is provide you with the shipping address to their warehouse, which you'll enter in when ordering your Apple Vision Pro. So set up an account with ShipIt2 or another vendor prior to pre-order day so you have that address ready. In theory, come launch day, you should now have all of the pieces you need to order an Apple Vision Pro and have it shipped to you outside of the United States. I say in theory because during my research, I did find one hiccup where the Apple Store app would not let me change the country under billing address from the United States to Canada, where on apple.com I could. So let's hope that Apple only requires the Apple Store app for the light seal measurement and not the entire ordering process on launch day. The last thing you'll want to consider are the duties and taxes you'll likely have to pay upon the Apple Vision Pro entering the country. The CBSA, or the Canada Border Security Agency, has an online calculator to help people estimate the duties and taxes they'll have to pay. I live in the province of Nova Scotia, where the sales tax is 15%. The cost of an Apple Vision Pro is $3,500 USD or 4,700 Canadian. According to the CBSA calculator, I won't have to pay any duties, but I'll have to pay the 15% sales tax, which is not any different than if I bought the Apple Vision Pro locally when it does come to Canada. Your second, slightly less technical, but still far from perfect option is to travel to the United States and pick up the Apple Vision Pro in person. Now this option obviously has a lot of additional expenses, like a hotel, taxis, food, and transportation costs, like flights or driving, not to mention just the time it would take to go there. Ideally, the reservation process for an Apple Vision Pro will be similar to the ordering experience, just with the difference of selecting an Apple Store for pickup rather than using the forwarding company. So hopefully, the tips explored in option 1 are still helpful. You might not even have to enter payment information and could possibly just reserve a unit at an Apple store and pay for it in person. That would certainly be ideal. It's still a bit too early to know just how this will all work. You could also take the chance and just show up at a US Apple store and see if they have any sellable stock. They may, or you might have to punch out some nerds like it's Black Friday at Best Buy. Either way, good luck! When returning to your home country, you'll still have to declare the Apple Vision Pro, pay any applicable duties and taxes, and there'd still be the question of warranty. Plus, if there are any issues with the pickup experience, you may have just wasted a trip to the United States. Now for the third option, let's assume you're the most normal person watching this video right now. And while you want to get an Apple Vision Pro, you both don't want to travel to the land of the free, how dare you, and you want to guarantee your device will be, warrantable. In that case, your best option is to wait for the Apple Vision Pro to come to your country. Is this a bit of a cop-out answer? Yes it is. But it's believed that the Apple Vision Pro will likely come to Canada and the United Kingdom later this year, with the rest of Europe and maybe even China following. While this is the least exciting option, it is the safest and the most well recommended. Plus, you may not have to wait that long, at least in some Western markets. Thank you so much for watching the second main video I posted on my channel. I never intended to post a video mid-January, but I had this idea after doing some research for myself and thought it was a fun idea. Are you going to get an Apple Vision Pro despite not being in the US? Let me know in the comments below. Or, if you want to make me cry, tell me how dumb I am for going through all of this. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm, either way. If you don't hate me, leave a like, and maybe even click that subscribe button. You know the one. Bye for now.